This trophy belongs to one club. In the whole history of Champions League, this club has won twice as many trophies as the team in second place. There are clubs which rise and managed to win multiple trophies, but then they hardly fell and disappeared. But this club managed to survive the fall and even reborn to become invincible. They had very low points, where they couldn't win Champions League for 32 years, but they managed to survive the fall and even to make the trophy their property. I'm Heather and I will show you how they made it. And in case you didn't know which club it is, yes, it's of course Real Madrid. Beginning. Because the very beginning is very boring for me and it's maybe boring for you, I want to compress the information and say that when Santiago Bernabeu became president of Real Madrid, the club lived his golden age. In first 5 years of European Cup, that was the name of Champions League at that time, Real Madrid won 5 of them. But even after this period, which I call beginner's luck, they managed to reach the finals 3 times, of which they won 1. So first decade for Real Madrid was insane. Hey, they even had Puskas in their team. The future was bright for Real. Right? The fall. After first decade of European Cup, the dark days came in for Real Madrid. They were still winning the trophies in Spain, but the European side just wasn't for them. And when the president Santiago Bernabeu died in 1978, the things got even worse. They reached Champions League finals in 1980s, but lost against Liverpool 1-0. And after that, they couldn't even win in Spain. The league title slipped away from Real Madrid on the final match day for 4 times in a row. Real Sociedad and Atletico Bilbao. Those were the teams that took the title away from Los Blancos. Eventually, Real Madrid thought that it would be great to promote a lot of young talents that had been formed in their academy. And it worked out. In the second half of the 80s, they won 5 La Liga titles in a row, 2 Europa League Cups. Europa League Cups? Where is the Champions League, you may ask? Well, despite having the great La Quinta del Buitre generation, Real didn't manage to win Champions League. And after La Quinta del Buitre splitting up in early 90s, it was the question whether they will ever achieve it. First USL trophy after 32 years. 1996. The president, the players and fans were hungry for the Champions League trophy. And that taste of being champions of Europe required serious actions. President appointed Fabio Capello as a coach. Although he was fired after the first year, Real Madrid were league champions, and players like Roberto Carlos arrived to strengthen the club. Club president wanted more than just a La Liga title. As a result, in 1997, with a new manager, Real Madrid finally ended its 32 years wait for its 7th European Cup. However, after the season, manager was also fired because Real finished only 4th in La Liga. Lorenzo Sanz said, "If we had not won the European Cup, this would have been one of the worst seasons in recent years." Galacticos. In July 2000, Florentino Perez was elected club president. He promised in his campaign to erase the club's 270 million debt and modernize the club's facilities. However, the primary electoral promise that propelled Perez to victory was the signing of Luis Figo from arch-rivals Barcelona. The following year, the club had its training ground rezoned and used the money to begin assembling the Galacticos team by signing a global star every summer, which included Luis Figo, Zidane, Ronaldo, David Beckham, and Fabio Cannavaro. Okay, maybe he shouldn't supposed to be here. Sorry. But despite winning Champions League in 2002 and La Liga in 2003, the gamble didn't pay off because the club failed to win a major trophy for the next 3 seasons. And insanities, as I call it my native language, meat grinders, began. After La Liga trophy, Perez fired winning coach and many players. And Zidane added his thoughts about this decision. That's a lot of players leaving when the normal rule is never change a winning team, and that was right. It didn't fix anything, and after a few years in 2006, Florentino Perez even resigned. The boring era. Okay, let's skip this era because it's called the Ranon Calderon era. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Do you even know him? Okay, I will tell a bit. Real Madrid won La Liga and blah blah blah. And Real was knocked out of the Champions League at the round of 16 stage for the 5th time in a row, losing to Liverpool 5-0, and was embarrassed by Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabeu with a humiliating 2-6 loss. Okay, I think that's enough for this era, right? Competition with Barcelona. Oh, the nostalgic part. Florentino Perez regained Real Madrid's presidency and spent a bit of money in that summer, 265 million to be exact. And they spent it on these players: Kaká, Benzema, Alonso, Arbeloa, Raúl Albiol, Garay, and Ronaldo. The team was soon dubbed as the second Galacticos, but in the Champions League they were eliminated by Lyon. What about La Liga? They lost it to Barcelona. Even though they earned 96 points and scored 102 goals, Barcelona was simply better. Even Jose Mourinho, who won Champions League with the Porto, couldn't help winning the Champions League, or at least La Liga. Both teams were very strong, and these were the golden years for La Liga. All the El Clasico fights between Real Madrid and Barcelona for every possible trophy were something out of this world. For a few years, Barcelona did better than Real Madrid. They were winning everything and dominating all world. In football, obviously. While Real Madrid couldn't pass through semi-finals in Champions League for 3 years in a row. After a loss to Atletico in the Copa del Rey final, Perez announced the departure of Jose Mourinho at the end of the season by mutual agreement. The rise. Finally, the part we've been waiting for. In 2013, Ancelotti became the manager with Zidane as an assistant. They signed Bale for 100 million euros and returned to the final after 12 years, having beaten defending champions Bayern Munich 5-0 on aggregate in the semi-finals. And in the final, they defeated then recent league winners Atletico Madrid 4-1. The next season, fights against Barcelona for Champions League and La Liga were until very end. Unfortunately, they lost both. Attractive football had its price. Despite scoring the most goals in Europe, several narrow defeats meant that Real finished the season without Champions League and La Liga, and the manager was fired. Again. Okay, I'll let you guess what happened next. Yes, they fired another manager in the middle of 2015-16 season. This time it was Zidane who came into the big game, and as they say, the rest is history. No one believed that the same year Real Madrid would win Champions League. They were even in a 2 goals deficit after first match with Wolfsburg in quarterfinals, but at home Ronaldo scored 3. Finally, on 28th of May, Real Madrid's 11th Champions League title was won against Atletico Madrid. And another one year later. And another one. And like every story, this one also has an ending. After wonderful second Galacticos seasons, after the win in the Champions League final against Liverpool, Ronaldo and Zidane left the club, marking the end of the second Galacticos era. That yielded 4 Champions League titles. The team was instrumental in ending Barcelona's dominance, and after surviving 32 years nightmare, the club reborn. And I think that's why this trophy belongs only to Real Madrid. I know it's a stupid statement, I know that Barca Legion will be mad at me, and even I am mad at myself because I am Messi fan, but we need to accept the truth.